easy it can be.
Sports Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
I'm looking forward to be a dogfight. I'm looking forward to us coming out there, taking that 2-hour road trip, coming to compete. We know they're big, we know they're physical. So our guys, they know what mindset to come with. We coming to work, we coming to compete, and we coming to have a good game. Coach Berg does a phenomenal job up there, and something I really stressed to our kids was just how fundamentally strong Hoisington is. They don't make mistakes. They don't do anything flashy. I mean, the flex bone's been around for 100 years. Everybody knows what you're going to do. They run the 3-4. They don't like to blitz. They're going to stay in it.
We always talk about one-week seasons every week, so whether you win or lose, you got to forget it. We're going to learn from it, and we're excited to go back out there.
Throw the first throw. That's what we've been practicing. Throwing the first punch out there and run to the ball fast. Hold people accountable, things like that we just keeping it as a mindset for us, and just going out there and just playing fast, and also with that we have to finish fast.
Could be coaching, at the end of the day. It makes it, they're doing their job when they're giving me, what to look at, stuff like that, but at the end of the day, I can't be thinking about that when the game comes. I prepare myself throughout the week, and then when the game comes, it's time to play free at that point. So thinking less and playing more.
The fact that he was out there saying that he's playing robotic and it's because of the things that the coaching staff is putting in his head is a complete cop-out, and it's unbecoming of a quarterback that is deemed a franchise guy.
Velazquez is going to take a hack at this pitch if he likes the looks of it. Here it comes. He liked it, and there she goes.
Mullins in center, shades the other way. Infield and outfield both come in. Dubon lifts it in the right. Base hit. That'll score Diaz. Astros walk it off. 2-1. Your winners, and still all alone in first place in the AL West, the Houston Astros.
And welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Welcome in. It is Thursday, although it's kind of like Tuesday Sports Day show, but no Royals baseball today. We have sports to talk about here in the Golden Belt. Steve Webster with you. Aaron Clark in studio today. Mike Corson in studio today.
Hello.
You set the trend there, Aaron. You didn't say anything. So
that's why following.
That's on me.
So Mike Hesher is out today. So in his place, the executive producer of Sports Day, Landon Winkler. Don't mess with him. He's concentrating over there, doing a fine job as well. This is one that if you don't like the result, you just need to do it yourself, right? Although when the boss, Matt Althouse, comes in here and does Trading Post, I'm really not going to – you can't throw him under the bus because, okay, I didn't have to do Trading Post. That was another hour that I got today. But the delay was left on, so – we got hashed. we got hashed, and Hesh wasn't even here.
It's like he's here with us in spirit.
Yeah, he sure is. Okay, on the show today, we're going to talk Great Bend Panther football. Head coach Aaron Beck will be in. He'll be joined by senior offensive linebacker Matthew Johnson. Also, sophomore quarterback Dax Minton will be in. Voice of the Indians, Gary Wagner, previewing tomorrow night's matchup in Nickerson. The Tribe will try to move to 3-1 on the season. And our own Mike Corson goes on the prowl. He'll be talking Great Bend Panther boys soccer with head coach Chewy Loera. Okay, sounds the past 24 hours is what we'll jump to right now. Head coach Marcus Bagley of the Wichita Southeast Buffaloes saying they're coming to Hayes. They've got something for the Panthers. They'll be here tomorrow night for homecoming. Nice job. You can hear that rest of that interview that we'll have on Sports Day tomorrow. But Coach Bagley giving you some time to talk about his Buffalo squad.
Heard a lot about them. Looking forward to seeing what they have. Always fun to see a Wichita school have to get out of Wichita, and excited to see the Panthers on homecoming night, see if they can't bounce back from last week's loss against Bueller, see if they can't get back on the right track and get to 2-2.
Aaron Clark on the call tomorrow night on B1043 The Point, starting with the pregame show at 6:30. Matt Bell, he is the head coach of the Mustangs of Southwestern Heights. They make the journey up here tomorrow night to Elton Brown Field. They'll be taking on the Hoisington Cardinals, and talking about how disciplined Hoisington is and how hard it is to play them. And he brought up a good point there. He said, yeah, they rarely blitz. They don't blitz too much out of that three-man front. And they didn't blitz a lot last week and had a little bit of trouble getting to the Lions quarterback, although that changed a little bit as the game went on. But should be another fun time at the Big E tomorrow night for the Hoisington Cardinals.
And it feels like Hoisington always has a similar style of football program where they're going to run the ball and they're going to play that same three-man front defense, and they're going to play it incredibly disciplined. They do it very well, like Coach Bell said. Very hard to play against that, but this year we're seeing him even diversify the offense a little bit. There's a couple more passes with old Tony Moore. Might be harder to stop Hoisington than in years past.
We discussed the other day, what was it, Tuesday we were on, Andale's going to Smoky Valley tonight. Isn't Andale one of those schools, if they call, you don't pick up? So we talk about Wichita coming out of Wichita to play here. It's kind of odd to see the CKL playing Andale, but
that's a district game, though.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, so they don't have any choice. Yeah, Nickerson won't have that choice either. When it comes up to the end of the year, it's all, you can go. You go through communities, not as much as you used to, because kids don't go out and play football anymore. In groups, they've got other things they're doing. But you see kids out there playing, sandlot football. You go through Hoisington, and they're playing sandlot football, but they're running the flex bone. They're not. They're like 6 years old, and they've already got the offense down.
They've already got a kid back there running fullback as a 7-year-old.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
already wearing number 34.
And I think that's what Coach Bell was getting to, too. I mean, they've run it, and they run it, and they run it well. And like you said, with Tony Moore this year able to throw, and they've got some tremendous speed on the outside. So, yeah, Hoisington tomorrow night. Okay, Big 12 football tomorrow. Again, it's hard for me to say this is not tomorrow, Saturday. Thanks. Give me that Hesh look. Yeah, okay. Saturday, K-State taking on UCF, University of Central Florida. It's a Big 12 conference game. How about that? Austin Moore, linebacker for the Wildcats, saying that they need to prepare for this game and be ready. They need to bounce back after that disappointing loss to Missouri.
Haven't even had time to talk about that one a whole lot, but the SEC's all-time longest kick took all the wind out of K-State. It just stinks to have, we know that one loss is really bad, 2 losses is really, really, really bad with the playoff system at the current time. So you hate to have that in week 3, so obviously a big bounce-back week, they have to do it.
Yeah, I want to see how Missouri's going to do the rest of the season, I mean, if Missouri goes out and gets trumped, that may not be a good sign.
But then it could also flip, and what looks like a bad loss to what might not be a great Missouri team could turn into the Tulane game from last year. Tulane ends up becoming a very quality program by the end of the year, and it looked like a pretty good Missouri team, at least a concise one on Saturday.
Well, now you got to pick Missouri to beat Alabama, too, so...
Are you picking Mississippi to beat Alabama this weekend?
Are
you saying the Giant is ready to be knocked off the mound?
Did you see they're going back to Jalen Milroe?
Yeah.
And this is just wacky to see from Nick Saban, that kind of back and forth from Steve Buchanan, the Notre Dame transfer, and going back to Jalen Milroe. Milroe, a little bit more of a runner, but has had some wobbly passes.
Yeah, but that. It's one of those things. The transfer portal catches up. They don't have them stacked on top of each other. The Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback that's going to step in, and Buchanan he transferred from Notre Dame because he couldn't start there.
And
but, they're taking leftovers just like everybody else is right now.
And Notre Dame has a transfer quarterback in starting for him this year. It's part of why he had to transfer out. It all comes back.
KU opens Big 12 conference play against Oklahoma State. Iowa State.
Traditional Big 12
foe. Wait, it's BYU.
Yeah, the Cougars.
It's BYU. KU linebacker Craig Young says a quick start will be crucial this Saturday. This will be a big one for KU to get.
Kind of like the Illinois game where they know it's going to be a physical matchup. BYU has had that kind of brand of football that they're going to have hogs up front, going to play physical. If KU wants to see if they can keep up with that, if they can kind of get into the trenches and play a physical, running, control the clock style of football, great test against BYU.
think I saw it scrolling the other day. That's already sold out. So once again, excitement building in Lawrence. We'll see how long.
But those programs that are trying to build back up, their balloon is not tied tight. So it's easy for the air to come
and that
rolling
balloon
out
goes
of it.
shooting off, and suddenly you start 3-0,
No,
and then you're finished.
that would
with
be a good
3-8.
win if they could get it. I'm not completely confident that they'll be able to get it done yet. I'm not ready to kick the football on KU yet.
When was the last time KU started back-to-back seasons 4-0, though, if they do manage to beat BYU?
Probably the Mangino days.
That's
Probably
what,
the
I'm
last
going to
time.
have to look back and see what the start of 08 and 07.
Okay, a couple of great cuts here coming up. Justin Fields, the franchise quarterback for the Chicago Bears. I'd like controversy coming in when the opponent of the Chiefs ask about what he means when he was thinking too much.
Could be coaching. At the end of the day, it makes it. They're doing their job when they're giving me, what to.
Giving him too much to think about. And I love the fact that for once, the ESPN apologists that are always trying to make excuses for these quarterbacks, Chris Canty says that's a complete cop-out. I think the biggest thing was calling his coach out when his coach had to come and address his response about 20 minutes later.
It'd be a different story if he was an elite quarterback, but at Chicago. But when you look at their playbooks or you hear the plays and you've got, I don't know what it means, Clark here would, but you always heard Gruden say, Spider Y banana 4268. And there's like 16 more syllables.
Well, okay, Justin Fields, he's saying basically he'll try to do it during the week, but then when Sunday comes, he's just going to run out there and just try to make it Sandlot football, not running the flex bone.
And that's what, like, I think it's one thing to think it, but then to come out and say it just feels like you're thinking too much in the media. He's trying to deflect blame from him when you shouldn't really be worried that much about what the media is saying, especially it's only week 3. Obviously, the Bears' offense hasn't been great. They haven't been running a lot of plays to Fields' strengths. Like, you'd like to see him run more QB-designed runs, that kind of thing. But
your franchise quarterback, you want your franchise quarterback.
To be fair, franchise quarterbacks still do need to be able to play. Like, you couldn't ask.
I completely agree. But then you get into, okay, franchise quarterback, then, okay, this is our franchise quarterback. Do we want him going out and getting...
Exactly, but they're not even doing stuff like moving the pocket for him. Like when he scrambles and makes those plays, because he still made some plays outside of structure this year, he's not getting out and scrolling behind a moving pocket, a bootleg to the right. It's pressure breaking down in front of him. He moves out to the right and is able to make a throw, sometimes able to make a throw.
They called it for him. He just didn't do it. He didn't know what they were talking about.
Banana Y, outside structure, X, Y, Z.
We've all had those meetings where we nod our head, oh, absolutely, boss, absolutely. We go do our own thing. So, yeah, I wouldn't say it to ESPN.
I know, but Justin Fields and all these quarterbacks, they expect him to come in and play right away and play at a high level. No one gets the Patrick Mahomes treatment anymore.
Even though it did well for Mahomes.
Did Alex Smith, did they tell him before the season that, oh, Alex, we're going to trade you at the end of this year so we can get Mahomes in there? I don't think that was ever talked about.
I don't think
it's hard to find a guy in there and say, okay, show him everything that you need to show him, and then we're going to trade you to the Commanders at the end of the season.
And it was. I think the writing was on the wall there for Smith. I think he's a pretty smart guy. They draft a quarterback with the 10th overall pick. They're going to go
the Chiefs got criticized for taking Mahomes.
They did, and then
moving
Smith,
that far up to get the 10th pick overall so he could pick this guy from Texas Tech that's just some
a gunslinger that just throws
has
it,
no
plays all
discipline.
wacky
Yeah,
out of offense. It turns out Andy Reid could wrangle in the Mustang that's worked out well in Kansas City.
Oh, by the way, the Bears defensive coordinator Alan Williams has resigned, saying he needs to tend to his health and his family. So there you go. No defensive coordinator coming up for the Chiefs game on Sunday.
If I had to try to defend Mahomes and Kelsey, I'd retire too.
I love it. You keep hanging in there with the Royals. They are hot right now. They get their first sweep since, I think, of August of last year. Wrapped it up yesterday, beating Cleveland 6-2. And the call, Denny Matthews, that's pretty good. He's looking for a good one. He got a good one. There it goes, home run. Nelson Velasquez has been good for the Royals here at the end of the year. 3-run homer. The Royals are off today.
Gotta catch up. Make sure they're fresh for a series against Houston.
And the Astros kept a half-game lead on Seattle and the Texas Rangers in the AL West last night. How about that? Mauricio Dubron hitting a walk-off single to right field. They beat the Orioles 2-1.
Time for some new blood out west. Houston was awful, worst franchise in sports, really. And it seems like an eon ago now.
Okay.
They've been good for so long.
So you brought a cereal box back with you from Seattle. So you've got Mariners fever right now.
And it's going to be irrelevant if they can't get into the playoffs in about 2 weeks.
Okay, now we have the Mahomes box. We've ate out of it twice after they've won Super Bowl. The second Super Bowl championship, they weren't very tasty, the Mahomes flakes. So if the Mariners win the World Series, are we going to have a bowl of cereal here on Sports Day?
Let's do it if they make the playoffs. I don't want that cereal to go to waste.
Different franchise, different expectations.
So if we make the playoffs, we're going to eat some of that cereal?
You bet.
Okay, good. I thought maybe you'd want to hang on to it.
I got 2 of them.
Okay, so this is for
Yeah, we
consumption.
got one to eat.
Yeah, Houston with a half-game lead over Seattle and Texas. The wild card standings, it's the Yankees aren't going to make it. But in the American League, Tampa Bay, they're in Toronto with a game lead over Seattle and Texas. So that'll be fun here in the last week. National League, the Cubs now, their lead over Miami is just a half game. Cincinnati's a game back. San Francisco is 3 back. So there you go. Sounds the past 24 hours. A lot of football to talk about. Fellas are in here. We're going to talk Great Bend Panther football. Head coach Aaron Beck, Matthew Johnson, and Dax Minton coming up. Also, Gary Wagner talking about where they're going to eat tomorrow night when they go to Nickerson. We've got to keep the expenses down on the Eagle ESOP. And you'll be talking with Chewy Loera later on in the program. Rolling on here, it's brought to you in part by Venture Corporation, reminding you to help a neighbor, shop local when you can, and the Barton Cougar Booster Club continuing their efforts to make the Barton Athletic Department the best in the country.
At Next Tech Wireless, it's wireless on your terms. You pick a 36, 24, or 18-month agreement and get a device on us like the iPhone 14 or the new Google Pixel 7. Stuck in a contract with your current provider? Switch now and get up to $1,000 per line. For more details, stop by your nearest Next Tech Wireless location today or call or text our customer care team at 877-621-2600. Next Tech Wireless, home on the range.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powson, president of Your Local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
Hi, my name is Dalton Jones, a patient that I helped. She came in with chronic back pain that she'd been having for years. After several weeks of showing her exercises, several different interventions, we were able to get her back to where she can do her shopping without leaning on the shopping cart at all.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
It's Panther football time on Sports Day as we present Great Bend football coach Aaron Beck. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back, Sports Day. Time to talk some Panther football here today. Aaron Beck is in, Dax Minton and Matthew Johnson. Okay, Coach, let's get to it. Week 4 coming up, Wichita Southeast, and back to work after tough loss going back to Friday night. So I know you want to put that behind you right now and just jump in and, roll up the shirt sleeves right now.
Yeah, it was a tough one, you know. Anytime you come off kind of a game, like a rivalry game like we had versus Hayes, one that maybe we took for granted, that we sat there and said to ourselves we should have won that game, and instead of really honing in and understanding we can learn from this. I'm not sure our focus was there, and that one's on me. That one's on me as a coach and as a coaching staff, and that's something we've really kind of got back to and tried to instill in these kids this week after coming off a pretty disappointing loss to Buhler. And I think our humility got tested a little bit, and that's something that we're trying to learn from, and we're trying to navigate as a team, as a coaching staff, and we'll see how these kids respond to some frustration. Everybody kind of handles that differently, and some kids can really rise to the occasion, and I'm looking forward to seeing those ones that let that happen. And sometimes frustration can also lead to the next play or lead to the next game, and hopefully we can combat that a little bit here as we head into Southeast.
I was talking to Aaron on Tuesday, and I guess I was trying to impress him on the number of games I've broadcast over the years. He just said, man, you must be really old, but the soothsayer thing. There were certain games you're covering a team all the time, and just something didn't seem right. Do you get that as a coach same time, and did you feel any of that on Friday?
Yes, and not only with our team, but also something did not feel right with the Buhler team. They came out, they were angry, they were ready, they were out for blood. You could tell from the get-go. They were very well prepared. Coach Warner had those kids ready to go. They picked up on some of our schemes offensively so quickly and got us off rhythm a little bit and got us behind the sticks a couple times and kind of took us out of our game plan. So playing a little bit of catch-up. And then they did exactly what I know their game plan was heading in, was to keep the ball out of our hands, to grind it out, to run the ball, to chew up clock, to limit our possessions. It just didn't feel like, even when we had those possessions where we kind of went empty-handed, whether we turned it over, whether we had to punt, it just felt like we were on the sideline for a long time before we got that ball back. And that's credit to those guys, and they did exactly what they sought out to do to us.
So it's Wichita Southeast this week. So is it more just coming? Is it been more about you this week than maybe it has been the Buffalo somewhat?
Absolutely. That was the message Saturday morning. We got to get back to our brand of football, and like I said, we got to figure out some things, who we are as a team, and understand this team hasn't done anything yet to sit there and toot your own horn about. I said it. Our humility was tested, and we're going to find out what these guys are made of and what our coaches are made of.
Matthew, do you feel like, the sun was out, that there wasn't a shadow for a tell me about that gigantic 68. That guy's a huge dude.
Yeah, he was very big.
You were locked into him most of the night, right?
Yeah, he was very big. He was a big boy.
Did they give you any looks, or because on some of their blitzes and stuff, and they kind of put some pressure on the offensive line on different looks and gaps that they were trying to shoot?
Yeah, they ran that weird front where they stack like their little guy behind the big guy, and we'd always lose them, or they would stack two backers on the outside and they'd blitz them. They were just bringing a lot of pressure, more than we could handle, and it was working for them. So
still had some good plays in there. So the communication, we talked about that before. I love to hear this from you, not from Aaron all the time, because he's always telling me, what's going on with the offensive line. But kind of talk, how do you combat that? When they're giving you different looks, and guys looping around other guys and things like that.
It's really just a big trust thing and the chemistry there. We're starting to work on it. We picked up some of the blitzes they were giving us and their stunts and stuff, but it's just the big trust and communication that we have, and we're starting to get back to that.
Going back to the 68, I'll just call him 68.
Yeah.
How was he to block? Was he pretty good, or is it you like those bigger guys maybe than maybe someone smaller that's quicker?
He was big and he got off the ball pretty well, but other than that, he just kind of ran into me. He didn't really do any moves, but yeah, the smaller guys, when they get off the ball, they'll move their hands, and they're a lot harder to block.
Dax, I want to talk to you about like 3 different plays. When I sound like Gruden. See, I break down these things, the ones I can see anyway. So, yeah. All right. The first pass. Tell me what formation. The touchdown pass to Ian in the left corner. What's the formation when you were in? You had single on the left, and then you've got your 3 receivers on the right side. What's that formation called?
We call it tan.
Okay, so you're in tan down there. and you come out. Is that where you wanted to go right away? Did you see the coverage? Say, okay, and talk about the pass Ian ran, because that was perfect.
Yeah, we worked on that at practice pretty much all week, and yeah, when we came out of the huddle and I saw he was one-on-one over there, I knew it was going to be open.
How do you kind of disguise that a little bit? Can you walk out and say, okay, that guy's over. I'm still looking over there. I need to look over here to the right. Kind of the disguises, because you know that everybody in that linebacker they're looking at you.
Yeah, it was hard knowing that it should have been a touchdown right there.
And it did, and that's a nice little move that Ian made, kind of diving inside and then spinning around. That was nice. Okay, the touchdown to Jacob, okay, was that the same play that you ran against McPherson for a touchdown?
Yes, it was.
Okay, that's what I thought, because he's moving toward the corner. Is that eye contact? Is he supposed to set down there, or because in both situations he's moving and you threw the pass where he stopped and everybody, it was a perfect hole.
Yeah, it was Jacob making a great play, knowing where to be and finding the hole.
Okay.
Take him through your progressions. What are your reads on that?
Yeah, so when I roll out right, first I look at Colton going straight out, and then I find Maddox right behind him, and then Jacob in the back of the end zone.
How many options do you have off that loaded side?
3 or 4, including Ian on the backside.
Okay, is that predetermined, or are those guys reading that themselves?
It's predetermined.
Okay. So, well, nice. Okay, the third one was a long pass to Jacob. I think it was 40-plus yards. And that just, did he read that he just keeps running that seam, or?
Well, in the second half, we saw that the corner was trying to jump the out route.
Yeah.
'Cause we kept running the out against him. So before the play, Coach Beck told me to watch that corner, see if he jumps the out route, and then he did. Jacob was open.
Beautiful pass, too.
Thank you.
Did you want to put it over the left shoulder, or you want to put it over the right shoulder? It didn't matter.
I just wanted to get it to him.
I'm getting a little picky on that. That was a heck of a play. So how much has the game, has it slowed down for you a little bit from week 1 to week 3? Because, you jumped in the fire, man, right away with 3 tough games.
Yeah, a lot. That first game coming out, I was really nervous. And then it just got, I wouldn't say easier, but less nerve-wracking more, I'd say.
How's he been in the huddle? Compared, Matthew, from Dax Minton huddle number game 1 to game 3.
He's definitely gotten a lot better. He's kind of starting to settle down, and he's done a great job with us, and we trust him to do his job, and he's been doing it.
Okay, Mike Corson talking about the complicated play calls in the NFL, okay? So give me one that is your favorite call. Just bark it out here. I kind of want to know. Okay, Matthew's in the huddle right now. Okay, here we go. Okay, call out a play. I want to know how complicated this is. Yeah, okay, you got the call from the sideline, okay? Yeah, okay. All right. Call from the sideline. Okay, I want the huddle call here.
My favorite play?
Yeah.
Ooh, probably.
Well, wait a second. Call the play in, Coach.
Well,
okay.
So,
okay.
Our verbiage is a little different. We try to keep it as easy as we can on the offensive line. So what he's telling the offensive line in the huddle is pretty simple, because they have a lot of jobs already. So everything else, the receivers, every motion, every tag to a formation, we signal in. So we tell every receiver and every back and Dax what to do from the sideline.
Okay.
And then in the huddle, he's able to just tell the offensive line, odd. It may be yellow flip switch invert Z-zip odd, but to him it's just odd. So we try to take a little bit out of their hands. But yes, Dax, I just gave him the play sheet for today for our run through, and he's got to practice those.
Well, let's talk about the guys that are signaling the plays in. Okay, you guys practice that?
Absolutely, and they always act like they have the toughest job. I'm like, you guys just got to signal it. These guys got to do it. So it gets a little wordy, but that's something we went back to the drawing board a little bit as a staff, as a team, and I told these guys, like, Bueller was able to sit in a 4-3 and play dead man. Well, when teams do that, it takes some things away. When they can play you in dead man and we are not able to take advantage of it, well then shame on us. We got to figure out better ways to get our kids open, and we got to make sure we are calling players, not plays. And so a lot of the verbiage we've been really practicing this week is trying to create mismatches. So a lot of that stuff we do is just for that.
Again, on this program, Dax, this is my favorite. That back in my day, we didn't worry about the offensive line calls. I mean, just go up there. Those guys are supposed to figure that out, man. You know, it's changed a little bit back from then. Matthew, your thoughts on taking on Wichita Southeast tomorrow night?
We gotta get back to playing Panther football and how we're supposed to play. We can't really stoop down to their level. We gotta just play how we play and get after it.
Dax, what are you thinking right now?
Same thing pretty much Matthew just said. Got to get back to the basics, do the little things right.
Okay, and I got one question for you before. How did it feel to hit your first high school basket in the town that your dad was a legend in?
I thought it was an air ball. When
It was awesome. Coach, your thoughts going into this game tomorrow night?
Yeah, I mean, these guys have said it best and have echoed some of the things that I've tried to portray to them throughout this week. It's about us. It's about
Hey, Dax, Matthew,
Thank
good
you
luck.
for
Go
having
get
us.
him, man. Homecoming,
Yes, sir.
man, tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Are you in that?
No.
Okay. Okay, good. You can focus. All right. Very
We'll
good.
get into that.
Okay, Great Bend Panther football, Southeast tomorrow night, B1043, The Point. Will have the coverage for you. And a reminder, next week on Sports Day, due to Royals, we'll be talking Panther football with Coach Beck on Wednesday. Our show brought to you in part by Equity Bank. More than 40 locations throughout Kansas, including Great Bend, Larned, Maxville, and St. John. EquityBank.com. And Next Tech Wireless. Experience wireless built by Kansans for Kansas. Gary Wagner, voice of the Larned Indians, up next.
Attention high school seniors, the time to think about that next step is right now. Get everything set up in a few hours at Barton Community College's Senior Day on November 8th. At Barton, you can take classes, transfer to a university, or enroll in a technical program. Did we mention we have $6,000 in scholarships up for grabs? Sign up online now through November 1st at seniorday.bartoncccc.edu to attend.
Extend the life of your equipment with Cenex Premium Greases. Engineered with quality-based oils and well-balanced formulas to protect equipment in a wide range of temperatures and tough conditions. The Cenex line of grease products offer excellent rust protection, water resistance, and anti-wear properties to extend equipment life. Cenex Grease delivers the dependability you need to keep your operation running like a well-oiled machine.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
This man can teach, coach, broadcast, and even auction off your estate. Sports Day presents one half of the Larned Dynamic Duo broadcast team. The voice of the Indians, Gary Wagner.
Buddy Tabler charges too much, so we go to the other half. Gary Wagner joining us here on the show today. The voice of the Larned High School Indians. Mr. Wagner, how are you?
I'm glad to know I'm the cheap one of the deal.
Well, your agent is easier to get along with than Buddy's is. So.
Well, we don't play hardball. We just you got the cash, we roll. That's it.
Okay, that's the way we work here too. Gary Wagner, voice of the 2-1 Larned High School Indians, a team that has won 2 games in a row, 2 straight shutouts, and a 38-0 homecoming win last Friday night. That had to be a pretty good evening over at Earl Roberts Field.
Oh yeah, that's you don't get an opportunity very often to beat up on a Smoky Valley team, that's for sure. And to do that on homecoming in front of a big crowd, and man, it was a beautiful night. And it was it kind of just sort of felt kind of cathartic, it just sort of felt like some demons got released that night, with 2 straight shutouts. That hasn't happened in over 15 years, I don't think. And just kids playing well and rising to the occasion. Just really felt good.
2 teams that wanted to play the same way.
Absolutely. They wanting to run the football and Larned's defense had answers. You know, they had answers to the running attack. Early on, it looked like Smoky Valley was going to get the job done throwing the football. They did have some success, but went away from it. We kind of wondered why they didn't stick with that a little more, because it looked like maybe that might have been their opportunity, to maybe make some plays. But, as any good defensive coordinator will tell you, you do try to make a team one-dimensional. And, if you can take away what they want to do and force them into doing what they don't really want to do or aren't very good at, you got a pretty good opportunity to win a ball game.
6-0 late in the first half, and then that's a way to go to the locker room, right? Carson Shaver goes 48 yards to the house with a punt return, and it's a 14-0 halftime lead. Big momentum swing right at the break.
Oh, absolutely. Larned had moved down inside the red zone on the previous possession and had it 1st and 10. It's somewhere around maybe the 16, 17-yard line. Well, then they had, I think on 1st down, had a holding penalty. So that moved it back to 1st and 20, and they went for it on 4th down and didn't make it. And you kind of felt like, it's just 6-0 at that point. And, man, what an opportunity kind of squandered there. And, it just felt like a wasted possession, wasted opportunity. And so we go back on defense. And, Carson Shaver, talk about getting that 6 points back, that interception return, the pick six. That's the second straight week we've had a pick six. That really, I think, was a momentum changer. And as Bud and I talked about on the broadcast a few times, those are the kind of plays that have always seemed to, in the last 15, 20 years, kind of go against us. Those are the kind of things that we have given up, those kind of crushing plays right before the end of a half or something like that. And, when those things go your way, it's amazing how that momentum, sits on your sideline. And just the attitude coming out in the second half, I think, was way different.
Carson Shaver had a pretty good night. Found the couple touchdown passes, got that TD run. That's a pretty good evening.
Yeah, he had a really good night. The absence of Brady Hope, who's out for the season. David Colglazier was out at least for the game. I'm not sure if we'll have him back this week. That put a little more emphasis on Carson, and we saw him running the ball a little more, which we thought might be the case, some more designed runs. But to also be able to score through the air, and this coaching staff has gone with more of a shorter passing game and using the run to set up the pass, and the touchdown pass to Cade Colglazier was a great example of that. We just pounded it inside. We get 2-3 yards of carry, and then all of a sudden we fake that, and Cade just leaks out to the end zone, and he's just all alone out there. And you could just see Brady Keith, head coach, just pumped up, because those are the things he wants to see happen. And I think finally the stuff he's coaching, the stuff that they're preaching, is finally kind of coming together, and you can kind of feel it.
I know that he was happy too, because tell me about that 89-yard drive in the third quarter that put the Indians up 22-0. That kind of is one that you can put ball games away. That was pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, we've had a couple of situations where we scored back-to-back touchdowns, really quickly. But as you know, eating a little clock helps too. And gosh, I think that was, I'd have to go back and look at my play sheet, but I think that was over 5 minutes of play clock, and maybe even a little more that ate up. And it was methodical. It was businesslike, and it was just, it was one of those drives, as you said, that just kind of a definer. It just, guys were doing exactly what they needed to do and making the plays they needed to make, and that was probably the drive that sealed the deal, just from a momentum standpoint. And you could kind of see after that one, the Smoky Valley players were kind of thinking that maybe this wasn't going to be their night.
Talon Reynolds have 2 picks or 3?
I think he had 2. I think he's got 3 on the season.
Okay.
And he's Talon has always been that undersized kid, but plays with a huge heart. And he's not afraid to get out there and mix it up. He returns some kicks and punts as well. And defensively, he's really playing well. They rely on him back there, and he's doing a good job reading the ball and letting a lot of stuff get behind him, and he's having a great season.
Okay, Nickerson on Friday, a team that's been involved in 3 shutouts. They shut out Lions the first week, 6-0. They've been shut out the last 2 weeks by a pair of 2-1 teams, Hillsboro 35-0, Haven 48-0 last week. Thoughts on the Panthers?
Well, they're struggling a little bit, and just as it happens in 2A and small 3A schools, you're up and down a lot, just personnel-wise and talent-wise and all of that kind of stuff. However, traditionally, Larned has had a tough time playing at Nickerson. 2 years ago when we were over there, that's when Mason Perez got hurt. He had played really well in that game, and in fact was a huge difference maker in that. If I remember right, we hung on to win that game, but that was a season-ending. He had a season-ending injury in that game. And we've gone over there before in a similar situation where we've got a better record than those guys, and I think maybe got a little overconfident and not played very well. So we need to go over there. Larned just needs to. They got to take care of business, and I think Brady Keith really understands how to get his guys focused on that kind of stuff. It's just he's said it several times. He doesn't really worry a whole lot right now about what the other teams do. We've got to get good at what we do, and I think it's finally to the point where he's getting a little more comfortable with that. But I still think he would tell you that the Larned Indians just have to take care of the Larned Indians, and they'll be all right.
You only have so many. You can't. High school sports. You only get a window to do that for 4 years. If you're good enough, you get to play a little bit more in your freshman year. And my heart just sunk a little bit when I heard about the latest injury with Brady Hope. That kid's had some tough luck.
Oh man, and I talked to Coach Keith about it. This is Brady's probably in the top 5 at most athletic kids that I've seen come through Larned High School in the 25 years I've been around the school. And, to see that kid get so dinged up, and I posed it to Brady, Keith, and I just wonder if kids like that are so athletic, they're usually not afraid. They're not afraid to get in the mix, and maybe that's why they're prone to injuries sometimes, is because they trust their skills, they trust their body and all of that, and maybe get into some situations that, those of us who are less athletic wouldn't even dare to get into. But, it is heartbreaking, and you just hope that maybe, maybe I don't know that anybody really thought that we would have a chance to be 3-1, after week 4, and what a huge start it would be for these guys. The loss to Pratt in the opening game, that's pretty much in the rearview mirror right now, I think, with these guys. And you just got to keep plugging forward, and there's so many more opportunities out there to make your case as the season moves along that you do belong, and there's some very winnable games coming up on the schedule.
Yeah, and like you said, you don't want to start looking past people right now. But Houston, obviously the overwhelming favorite in that district. But everything else out there, Larned has a chance to go get.
Absolutely.
Gary, thanks. Tell Buddy hi. Have a good trip. Keep the expense report down, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Gary Wagner, voice of the Larned High School Indians, with us today on Sports Day. They will play Nickerson tomorrow night, pregame at 6:30 on Hits 106.9.
From the Mail Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Amy Herrera, Regional Retail Manager for your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many people navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you how we're committed to serving you in our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
Barton Community College helped me get a jump start on college with early college opportunities. With Barton's help, I earned my degree at the same time I graduated from high school. You can take classes on campus, online, and even at your high school with teachers you already know. With tuition rates starting at $50 per credit hour for select Kansas high school audiences and scholarship opportunities, it is easier than ever. Barton Community College helped me get one step closer to my dream, and it can help you too. Learn more at highschool.bartonccc.edu.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB. Sports Day is brought to you by Advanced Therapy and Sports Medicine. Get your life back. And it's also brought to you in part by the Marmy Audio Group on 10th Street in Great Bend. So Mike Corson joined today by Panther soccer coach Chewy Loera. Feels like it's been about 2 years since we saw each other last. How's it going?
It's been a little while, yeah. I think you had some competition since the last time we've seen, and we've had some competition, and we're back at it.
I don't know who fared better. Probably you guys.
We're getting better.
So last time we had you in, we had a couple players, and you guys were getting ready for the championship of the Titan Classic in Wichita. Was that Wichita North?
Yeah, it's Wichita North. Then we played in the final there of our bracket of the Titan Classic. Ended up losing that one. But we did pretty well to win those first 2 games to get into that final. That was a big deal for us. I don't think we've made it to a final in that tournament since maybe, it's been a few years, 2016 or so. So to make it to that game was a big deal.
And what was it, 7-1?
Yes.
I never know with those Wichita schools, like Wichita North tends to struggle in so many sports. Would have an inkling that they might be a pretty solid opponent that day?
Yeah, they did a really good job. I think they had really good depth as well, not just their first rotation. Once they started subbing kids in, they still stayed pretty strong and consistent, and then just posed a little bit of trouble for us, and they pulled away there in the second half.
Hayes yesterday, a 4-0 loss, but it was a little bit closer than that most of the way.
Yeah, up until 71 at 80 minutes, we were down 2-0. Had a chance to score and tied. We were down a goal. Gus scored off of a free kick, but it was an indirect, meaning there's got to be minimum 2 players before it goes into goal, and he went directly to goal, so it didn't count. But once in the last 9 minutes of the game, once we made our second string rotation, and they scored 2 more, but we did a lot better than the first time, and we're still continuing to improve.
Let's go back to Gus's goal, because I don't always get to see the goals, but frankly, a spectacular goal. How far out was he?
Man, about maybe 22-ish. Yards. So it was a pretty good distance.
And so to me, I would have called that a free kick. He buries it into what we would call the upper 90, basically into the side netting even.
Yeah, side netting.
And I didn't know they waved it off. So you're telling me, I watched it on TV, but most fouls that I see are going to be contact-based, and that
usually they're contact, meaning so if there's contact, they're direct. You can go straight to the goal. But if it's indirect, a minimum of 2 players have to make contact with the ball before you are eligible to shoot on goal. And it was a high kick, meaning it was a dangerous play. The player brought his leg up too high, and it came close to Gus's face, so therefore it was an indirect no contact foul. So it required a minimum of 2 players to make contact before we were able to go to goal. And we went straight to goal instead, which was a beautiful goal, but unfortunately it didn't count. And so we got another crack at it, and we didn't quite have the same luck the second time.
On those, can you have the guy just sit there and tap the ball, basically?
Yeah, and that's what we did. So it was just a quick little tap to make it a quick 2-touch, and it was the guys I think Hayes did a good job adjusting, and they didn't allow for that.
And you guys stay in conference. Dodge City, it sounds like unbeaten. Where are they, the 6A champs still?
No, not last year, but
they didn't win.
But they're fully loaded. I mean, they've got amazing depth and really good skilled players, especially on the wings with number 9 and the number 10. They've got one kid's fast and the other one's faster. So I mean, they're just they're really complete top to bottom. They do a really good job of sticking to their game plan and executing it very well.
And you guys will be playing out at the Cav today against Dodge City?
Yes.
I know they're on turf out there and you guys are on the grass. Is that kind of your one chance that you might get an advantage on something that they're not used to?
No, I believe they do. I mean, because they've got grass out there next to where they train, so I think they prepare on grass when leading up to the game here. I think more of a non-conference game where maybe they haven't been here before, we can get that advantage. But Saul's he's a smart guy. He's going to prep for everything, and so no, the grass is not going to catch him off guard.
Staying in conference, Garden City next week.
Yeah, next week. A week from today, Garden City will come here, and then the following week we'll go to Wichita for life prep, and then we'll have a few more games to round off the season.
Talking to Panther soccer coach Chewy Loera, we were talking out in the hallway. Dodge City, not only are they good, they are evidently dominating some of their differentials.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of winning comfortably by some comfortable margins. I know they beat Manhattan, which is historically a pretty strong soccer program. They beat them 7-0. I think they've scored maybe over 30 goals, maybe 35-ish goals on the seeds and conceded 5. So they've done a really good job of, not even scoring goals, but getting different guys on the stat sheet. So it's not just like it's one or two players you have to worry about. They're doing a good job of keeping most of the guys involved in the attack and making it difficult for defenses to adjust on or focus on just one player. There's going to be 3 or 4 that you have to account for.
And your team, obviously they're used to seeing Dodge City, Hayes, Garden City, but any changes when they go into from a Hayes game to a Dodge City game just on something like that differential where Dodge is not allowing goals?
Yeah, so we just focused on attacking leading up to this game, and that's something that we need to get better at regardless of who we play. We need to score more goals, and so that's our focus. Like in any other sport, a great offense is a good defense, and so the more we can possess, the more we can control, the less opportunities they're going to have to put goals on goal for themselves. So that's our focus, is how long can we keep the ball, how many opportunities can we create for ourselves, because the more we do that, the less opportunities they will have.
How about homecoming tomorrow? Always kind of fun football is on Friday, so it's the big gear up for the football game, but always fun to see volleyball out there. And last year, the soccer kids were rather loud as they passed by. It was great to see.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Homecoming is a big deal. It's meant for the kids, and they take great pride in being able to, take a part of that. And it's fun for the community to come out and celebrate all of our athletes.
Coach, today what time are you playing over at the Cav?
5 p.m. JV kickoff and 6:30 for varsity.
Good luck. Take care of Dodge City for us.
We'll do that. Thank you.
More sports day after this.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Central and Western Kansas residents, are you looking for a new vehicle? Marmy Auto Group can make it happen. Marmy Auto Group includes Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Chevrolet, and GMC. Marmy Auto Group, your Central and Western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th or marmys.net. Marmys make it happen.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Sports Day today brought to you in part by the American Plains Co-op Bulk Fuel Department, your certified Cenex lubricant dealer in Great Bend, and Eller Automotive Repair, a local mechanic that can help behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source. I don't know if they have done this yet. Have they done, what is it, Bark at the Park for the Royals game?
I think they just had their last one like 2 days ago.
So it was a win. I mean, they're on a 3-game winning streak against the Guardians. It
was when I was driving back, so I bet it was within that last 4-game streak.
Would you take a dog to Kauffman Stadium, or would you want to sit by somebody who had a dog at the stadium, or do they have a special?
I make everybody's dogs misbehave because I don't respect boundaries or rules. So I would enjoy getting them all riled up and having somebody else deal with it.
I would sit next to my dog, Mike Corson, at a Royals game anytime.
So my question from a listener, he wants to know why the Royals, because you're a cat owner and you love cats, why don't they have Purr in the park?
Let me see it. Have you ever put a cat in a car? If you roll down the window, it doesn't put its head out. It will jump out of fear. You gotta lock those things down, man. They're not social.
And we've had a couple instances of a cat coming onto a baseball field or running onto a field at some point. So inviting cats to the field might.
Even that situation, think about if a dog runs on the field, you'd be like, here, boy, here, boy. You have to chase the cat down. It will probably end up crawling up your leg and arm because those cats do not want to be out in public. So that's why. So it would be hilarious, but.
It's probably a good thing you got 10 extra men on the field to help you chase down the cat if it gets loose out there. All that free space it's got to use.
I think it'd be a great promotion for the Royals because, I mean, you'd have to bring him in a cat carrier, so you'd have to buy 2 tickets.
Be perfect.
Okay, so you're all on board for Purr in the park.
At least it's like 10-cent beer night. Try it once, see what happens.
When it goes horrifically wrong, don't do it again. Just like 10-cent beer night.
Make sure you get video.
Barton volleyball team sweeping Butler last night, so they're now 5-1, 15-4 overall. Back home Saturday for a matinee against Colby at 2. Barton men's soccer wins. They beat Garden City 2-0 yesterday. Women's soccer picked up a 4-0 victory at Garden City. And Colorado's double overtime victory against Colorado State ended up near, it drew a record late night, 9.3 million viewers on ESPN.
Still no respect. They're like 3-point dogs in Oregon this week. We'll see.
No Travis Hunter, though.
Cheap shots.
Oh, quit. Talk to you tomorrow on Sports Day.